Hey.
Hi.
Ah, you're in the park. Oh, cool.
Yes. Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, beautiful.
I know.
Thank you for bringing with us a bit of Tel Aviv,
Yes.
the Hayarpon Park.
Yeah, it's so beautiful right now.
Oh, wow. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
It's the best. We should get outside later, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I need to go outside today. I need to,
Yeah.
it's going to be a beautiful day also. So
Yeah.
I have to enjoy it too. Good that you
hmm
do.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. So good. How are you?
I'm good too. I'm good too. Yeah. Just had my second day of meditation in a row, so I'm very happy.
Oh, nice. What kind of meditation?
I'm trying with Gio, Chio. I don't know really how we say that
Okay.
from Deep.
I don't know. Oh, nice.
It's they made this application, Gio, and they have a meditation room, and there are like
hmm
20 of them. So every day I'm trying another meditation and I will see which one I like most. And I like them. They are short
Nice.
or long or medium.
Yeah.
Let's see. But I committed with myself to meditate every day.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, I really need it.
Yeah.
It's the best way to reconnect with yourself. That's what I
hmm
say to my client. And, I don't do it every day. So I'm like, no, 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 you have to do it. I need the reconnection.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So
How
what
are
are we
you?
doing here today?
Well, yeah, I was, yeah, I had a conversation already with a friend, and
hmm
that was really great.
Wow.
We spoke about more life, life things, but I thought
Yeah.
maybe the thing to get in is to share the experiences, our experiences. So, and I thought to ask you about sharing your experience of being at the fair, and
Mm.
maybe around it, let's talk about what it is for you, because I'm in the same situation, to be someone from abroad in a new
Mm.
country, and how you manage around it, and
Yeah.
how I manage too. I will reflect. I think that can be very interesting.
Cool. Wow, that sounds really good.
Yes, you like it? Yeah.
Yeah, sounds so good. This is so fun. Just
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, just talking. Let's just talk. I want to hear all about it. Like,
hmm
like discovering you. You're opening
hmm
me your story.
Cool. So what would you like to know first?
Well, tell me about where where you are at now, and how come you came here briefly, and how do you find it to be coming from abroad to a new country, and how was it for you to open up to your activity,
hmm
and how did you meet new people, and also maybe
Mm.
about these people, what they are doing, what are your projects.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Well, I came to Israel 2.5 years ago. Um, and my husband is Israeli. We met 5 years ago, maybe almost 6 years ago, actually, in Taiwan, which is where I was doing research. At the time, I was doing my PhD in Buddhism at Columbia University in New York, but I was already in the dissertation period. So I was just free to do research and things like that.
Mhm.
But it was around that time, after I met my husband, maybe into the second year, I started realizing that I wasn't really happy doing this academic stuff, even though it was about Buddhism, which I'm so connected to and I love so much and I find fascinating, and it's very integrated in my life. Just the structure in which I was doing all these things was feeling kind of tight for me. And it was in that period in Taiwan, I guess that's, yeah, 5-6 years ago, that I started realizing it's not really for me. And that's when I started exploring, what do I really want to be doing? If not this path of studies and research and writing that I had always been on. It was like sort of like cracking open the shell just to see, like, who am I? What do I actually have to offer? So that Taiwan period when I met my husband was like a huge transition for me. And it was then that I found life coaching and started going deeper into other forms of spirituality, which, you know, has led me to where I am now. So that's the origin of how I met my husband, who's Israeli. And then eventually, after maybe 3 years of long distance, maybe a little less, I moved to Israel 2.5 years ago. And when I got here, I was still one foot in the door of academia because I hadn't quit my PhD yet. I was still like trying to finish. And then I had one foot in the world of wanting to work with people, like wanting to do coaching and healing and teaching. So when I got here, I was in a really, really difficult and challenging period in my life. And so coming here to Israel, which is very different than the States, was really hard, like really, really hard, actually. I didn't know the language. I still don't know it that well. And it was just adjusting to a new way of being and a new way of communicating and expressing myself. At the same time, I'm so grateful for being here, because being in this energy, which is very, very intense, has opened me up so much, you know, in terms of speaking my truth more freely, being more, just not being so afraid to express like the whole range of emotions. So there's so many like huge gifts that I've gotten from being here. And I know that right now, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. There's a lot of work I'm doing. There's a lot of things I'm enjoying. And it's just, yeah, I really am happy I'm here.
So good, so good. And when you speak about transition, that's it's funny that you mentioned that word, because that's a word that came to me yesterday or the day before even, and I've been doing some reflection about transition. I'm curious to hear. You said you were in transition when you were in Taiwan already, because of transitioning from what you were doing in a steady way and your interest to bring your interest more to your life and to your heart, actually.
Yeah.
And now that you are in Israel, where is that transition? Is it still the same, or do you feel there is a new transition?
Yeah, definitely. I feel there's a new transition now. I think at the time when I was in Taiwan, the transition that I was in was very internal. It was like an internal revolution, an internal transformation, and just starting to understand myself. You know, It was a very inward journey. I wasn't doing that many things. I wasn't speaking very much yet. I was still just transitioning within myself, within my internal world. And I think when I got to Israel a few years later, maybe 2.5, 3 years later, the transition started to become more external. You know, it's like, okay, now there's been an internal revolution that has completed one cycle at least. And now it was like about how can I take this internal change that's happened and bring it out into the world. So that meant like really quitting my PhD, really leaving that institution for real, you know? And then it meant really putting myself out there and working with people, you know, taking everything that I had learned and now saying like, this is what I'm doing. I'm working with people, I'm coaching, you know, I'm teaching. And so it was like bringing out what had happened inside to the outside. And that was a whole different kind of transition with a whole different set of like challenges and fears that came up. And now I'm in a different one, but we can maybe get to that later.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking that there is the transition is a long process in itself. And then there is the change, because you changed after in transition. The change is the result.
Yeah.
But the thing is, and when I hear your story, it really makes me think about that the change that happens at that moment is so quick in a way. I mean, in a period of time, the transition is a long process, while change is actually something that is very short, that is a result of a lot of work. But and it is short because when we are in there, then we are actually already ready for a new transition. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
for
why
a
it's
new
like,
change,
yeah,
actually.
it's always moving.
And that's the movement.
Yeah,
In it.
totally. Yeah.
Because I was in my coaching, I'm all about change. But now I realize that change is really the result. The result where I want to go. And once I'm there, it starts all over again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, people. Clients, you always have to work.
Totally.
So, but that's really like that. We always need to work.
Yeah,
always.
completely.
It never stops.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe part of the work that we do is also in guiding someone through a specific transition. It's like they're learning all these like tools so that they can guide themselves now through every transition, which is happening at every moment, you know. But it's like once you become conscious of how to consciously change, it's like you become a creator.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's absolutely right. And then we come to teaching, because we were speaking about it in our first conversation. The teaching is what we also do as coaches. We are teaching tools, because it's not the meaning that someone comes for forever. It's the meaning is to go through difficult transitions, maybe also, especially the inner one. I think the inner one is most of the time neglected by people, and they want to do the work themselves, and actually it takes longer. If they would reflect with someone and let the expression of the inner go out, the work would go much faster. The transition would be much faster, right?
Totally. Yeah. We really need each other as humans, you know. We help each other. Navigate and expand and, you know, understand ourselves. Like we do that through each other. So it makes so much sense that
absolutely
when we're doing the work with someone or with a group, like we accelerate.
Exactly. That is the acceleration of the transition. And we teach. And we teach during this time people how to do it next time.
Completely.
Oh, that's beautiful. And in your actual transition now, do you think do you already see where you go?
Oh, that's such a good question. Wow. Oh, that's such an interesting question. I feel where I'm going. I don't see how it's going to look in detail in terms of the way it's going to actually manifest in this physical reality, but I feel the frequency of where I'm going, because that's what I'm living and that's what I'm working on, like maintaining. Like we raise our frequency and then we learn how to maintain it, and then we can like go higher, you know. So I feel the frequency that I'm on, and I feel the frequency that I'm moving into, you know, more expansive, more creative, more loving, like all of these things. And my work is to nurture that frequency and to just let whatever creations come out of that to come out, and then just see what happens, I guess. So I don't quite always picture the details, especially in the thought, like in a few years from now or even a year from now. But I feel the frequency, and I just know that everything that I'm going to be experiencing, let's say a year from now, is going to be reflecting that, you know? So like if I'm feeling very, I guess I've been feeling very creative and expressive, and like there's a lot of energy, like wanting to play and like come out and all of this stuff. And so when I think about the results, like let's say a year from now of this trajectory, I just see myself doing all the things that I'm enjoying doing now, basically, you know, but I just don't know how it's going to look like in physical reality. Like, am I going to be teaching a course? Am I going to be doing a performance? Am I going to be, you know, moving to a new community or something? Like, who knows what it's going to look like, you know?
I like that you describe that as being in a frequency. It is very interesting, because that's the thing. I think that's very true what you say. Every transition, every every change, it's changing the consciousness anyway, because we will never arrive somewhere somewhere else with the same frequency that we have been arriving where we are today, and consciousness and awareness, that everything has to go further for us to be able to go further. So it's an old package. And I was interesting to hear that, because I'm like, also vision, you know, we speak a lot about vision boards and things like this, and I didn't make a vision board for years. And I wondered if making one would help really visualizing, and or if just the awareness and consciousness of being in a certain kind of vibration and be willing and open to move that vibration and that frequency would be enough, and leave the how anyway to the universe, because that's really how it has to be. And also leaving the how, leaving the imagery result maybe.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I love vision boards, and I think the past couple of years I've made vision boards, and for me, those symbols that I put on the vision board represent the frequency that I'm nurturing right now.
Oh,
you know, and
right.
Yeah, exactly. They represent that. So the vision board is a tool, right? Like I said, the only work that I need to do is to feel what frequency I want to be nurturing and maintaining, and how I want to expand and even raise that frequency. So the vision board is like a tool to help me take symbols of physical reality that reflect that frequency, that make me feel joy and excited and things like that. And they help me, you know, they help me maintain and expand my frequency. They're just like a little, a reminder, a jumping off point, like they make me smile. And they may or may not actually manifest in physical reality. Maybe they will, if that's what I'm really focused on and I want it to look that way, it can look that way. But if I'm more just open and sort of like, I don't really mind how it manifests, then it'll go that way. It'll be just like a sort of, who knows what's going to come out of it. But I also think we have both abilities, the ability to like narrow in on specifically what we want to create. And I do that a lot in the short term, like when I'm creating a workshop or I'm creating like a poem or something, like, you know, I kind of condense it like into shorter periods of time. But I think we have that ability to both create something very tangible, very specific, even long term. And we have that like aspect of us that is more just like open to like what shows up, you know, like, and I think I'm not really sure how to articulate it, and I don't really know how it works, but I think we have that ability to like either narrow in or expand.
Totally get you. And yeah, definitely. It's a short-term thinking, action, emotion, vibration. And there is a bigger one above it. And actually the bigger one is taking all the small steps within.
Yeah.
There are small steps. There are small steps in the realization.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. It's nice to think about it.
Yeah. And every step can be like a pleasure.
Definitely. Pleasure. It's a very important word. Pleasure, joy in that step. Because this is all about in our life. This is all about, if we are doing steps that are not bringing joy, I think that these steps are not productive.
I totally agree. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A joyful action, a joyful realization of something is bringing in itself a higher vibration and a good frequency that is moving on. If joy isn't there, it's like exactly like someone who wants to change but doesn't take the time to reflect with people, with a coach, or with friends, or get out of his mind. If you want to change, you can stay there forever. It's the same process. To make small steps. If the small steps are not bringing you joy, that means you are not connected with the inner.
Yeah.
Because the joy is from the inner and from the heart.
Totally.
And then there is no movement forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the joy is reflecting when we are, like you said, connected and when we're aligned with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like the joy is just the emotional experience of alignment. And so the joy like tells us that, yeah, you're on the right track. So every action that we take out of that is aligned. So if we're not feeling joy, like exactly like you said, it means that what we're doing or what we're thinking is not in alignment with us. That's why we actually don't feel joy. We feel contraction or we feel fear. And like you said, everything that we take out of a place that is not joyful, that is contracted, is going to be reflecting that. And so, of course, it's not going to take you forward. It's just going to take you either in the same place you've been or even down.
Yeah, or even down. Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting conversation. And something comes in my mind of maybe more sensitive when we are involved with other people in relationship, for example. I spoke with someone lately and I was trying to figure out what when there is no joy in one person because of the relationship is two people involved with each other. You understand what I mean? Two levels, two frequencies. I mean, when people meet each other and they're gonna have a friendship or a romance, the vibration is gonna be at the same level because they're gonna experience that joy together. And at one point it can turn. And I wonder if it's just here where we should look for the answer of how to stay connected to each other instead of going apart. What can be is there inner work that only one can do to change really both and bring back the frequency from another to the same frequency? Or is that because we say from the moment it is said, feel the joy inside and everything, and it's gonna go reflect in your external world. So actually, it should be like this. That if one of the two decide to help the frequency go back to a love and everything, the other one should come to it, right? I think so.
Yeah, in my experience, it's like they will either rise to that frequency, or you will enter a reality that doesn't include them.
True.
It can go either way. Because it also depends on them, right? Are they able to rise to that frequency?
Yeah, I think that's the point I was actually not able to mention, if they are able to raise that frequency or not. Because that's true. It's not because you are making that work and changing everything that the other one is actually going to make the same.
Right.
The love, sensitivity, everything. But if the energy is not going up, there is a discrepancy. Yeah.
And then we either choose to live with that and maybe continue to work on raising each other up to a more balanced frequency, or we have to make the decision of leaving.
And cutting cords so our own energy can go further.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. I think that's why relationships are so challenging, because it's a process to understand what the right thing to do is, whether it's with a lover or with friends. Like, do you stay and believe that the change is possible, or do you have to stop fighting with reality and just move on,
Yeah. So that's very interesting, because we were saying at the beginning that we need to speak, we need each other, we really need each other, and we need reflection work, and we are creating together. And on the other hand, we are individuals, and when we are involved on that romance level, that it's friendship or love affair, it is a romance between two souls. a love, it's really a certain kind of love that comes into hurting, then it's a very hard work.
Yeah,
Then
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Because
it's
the challenge, the most challenging work, actually, don't you think, in a way?
Oh,
because I think that's the most challenging work for all of us.
Yes, because the people that we choose to be with, especially the people that we choose to be with long term, like let's say in a marriage or a long-term relationship, like you choose to experience both the joy and the expansion together, but you also choose to commit to working through like the darkness and the shadows together also. Yeah. And I think that's also why we choose our particular partners, because they will help us. They will help us move through that stuff, you know, and it's definitely not pleasant always, you know.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we chose them. When you say that, you mean we chose them unconsciously and but of course unconsciously, I think. And beforehand.
Yeah, I believe we chose them from the spiritual
before
plane.
Right?
Yeah.
Before coming to earth, the path that you are on in this life is to encounter whatever you're gonna encounter, to be able to grow a certain way, because you decided before coming.
Yeah.
Which elevation you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Beautiful conversation about life, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Super. Wow.
Do you have more?
Oh, do we have more? Maybe we can leave it like this for today and come back another time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Good. I love this tree beyond your head. It's really like, really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's bringing all the energy and the light from the world into your spirit. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining me.
Thank you, Audrey.
And have a conversation with me today.
Yes, thank you.
See, makes me feel good. Have an amazing day then in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, you too.
And I'm going to go out and enjoy the sun too.
Okay, amazing. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.